Module 7, Chapter 2, Models of Global Planned Events. Learning outcomes for Chapter 2. You'll be able to recognize and use the 5 phases of the modern event leadership process. You'll be able to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the event. You'll be able to create an accurate blueprint, conduct a comprehensive needs assessment, complete a gap analysis, communicate effectively with event stakeholders, and critically integrate corporate social responsibility, or CSR. This is a graphic illustration of the model in your book, and it is the event leadership process. You can see if you look at number 1, you start at research, move on to design, then planning, then coordination, then evaluation, then back to research, and it moves around in a cyclical pattern around and around and around as you go through the event leadership process from beginning to end and starting over again. Research. Quantitative versus qualitative research. If you've had a research course, you already know the difference between these, but we're going to simplify what they are so you can understand that both are important in special event planning. We want to conduct research pre-event, that is, in advance of the event. We're going to do quantitative and qualitative, as well as a hybrid or a combination of the two. In simple terms, quantitative pre-event research is relatively inexpensive to conduct, tabulate, and analyze. The demographic information such as gender, age, income, other pertinent facts about the future market for an event, these are the numbers. The quantitative pre-event research would be the numbers. The methods would depend on your goals, time, funding available to probe what is the meaning behind the demographics or the numbers that you might collect. Qualitative pre-event research. Qualitative research is of prime importance, and oftentimes it's in the form of a written survey or an online survey, an in-person interview, an online interview, a telephone interview. It may take the form of a focus group, participant observation, or case studies. And with qualitative pre-event research, you'll get a greater response with some kind of incentive or some kind of reward. Select the appropriate research method for your goal. If your goal is to collect gender, age, and income, you may have a written survey as a method. If you want to collect attitudes or opinions, you may conduct a focus group. To determine the culture of the community, you may have a participant observer record that information. For comparing characteristics, you may do a case study. And for demographic and psychographic data, there may be a combination of all of these methods. Validity and reliability. The concept of validity primarily confirms that the research measures what it purports to measure. Reliability helps prove that the research will remain truthful and accurate over time. Interpreting and communicating findings. Once you have the information, you must present the research data to your stakeholders. Determine your audience and customize your presentation to their personal communication learning style. Describe the purpose and importance of the research. Explain how the research was collected and describe any limitations. Reveal your findings and emphasize key points, and invite questions. 5 W's plus the H. To produce consistently effective events, you must know the answers to each of these questions: who, what, where, why, and how. The discussion in your text talks about the SWOT analysis. You've probably run across this before many times. This stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For special event design, there's a blueprint for success. These include various techniques such as brainstorming, mind mapping, the creative process, needs assessments, and analysis, and you'll read about these. Project management systems components are discussed in your text. Components include objective systematic process, communication, accountability, charting, and training. To plan consistently effective events, you need to take into consideration the timing, the space, the tempo, and a gap analysis. You need to know what a gap analysis is to analyze any critical gaps in the logical progression of the event elements. You need to identify any gaps and provide recommendations for the closure of gaps. Coordination, executing the plan. Competent event leaders make good decisions, maintain a positive attitude, and apply critical analysis to challenges. 6 steps to making effective decisions. Collect all information. Most problems have many sides to review. Consider the pros and cons of your decision in terms of who will be affected. Consider the financial implications of your decision and consider the moral and ethical implications of your decision. Do no harm. Your decision must not harm others or yourself, if at all possible. Make the decision and continue looking forward. Evaluation is the link to the next event. Both pre- and post-test surveys are a part of evaluation. Written surveys are the most common, or online surveys now. Monitor observation, and also ongoing leader observation. So your observations are critical as well. The purpose of evaluation propels the first phase of research by collecting and analyzing the history that is needed to continually improve your event in the future. So remember that graphic, remember the illustration. It is the conceptual framework for every effective event. Communication is the tie that binds. Event success or failure often depends on effective communication. Communication barriers include visual and auditory noise. Communication methods are typical methods of telephones, memos, newsletters, websites, meetings, emails, social networking, whatever methods that are necessary to communicate in planning your special events. This is where synergy comes into play. Synergy is where the end result is greater than the sum of the parts, and this is linking your administration, coordination, your marketing, and your risk management together. In your text, there's a discussion of Event Management Body of Knowledge, or EMBOK, Event Management Body of Knowledge. You'll need to know that acronym. The aim of the EMBOK executive is to create a framework of the knowledge and processes used in event management that may be customized to meet the needs of various cultures, governments, education programs, and organizations. The purpose is to standardize the body of knowledge in the global event industry. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, is a term you're probably familiar with. It's been widely adopted in the past decade. Event leaders encourage positive contributions and outcomes. Event leaders buy local, fair trade products, products that are used or sold or made in an ethical manner from firms that provide safe and secure working conditions. And event leaders consider sustainability in events. They would encourage greener events and be concerned about the impact on carbon footprints. So corporate social responsibility is a term that you need to be familiar with.